You are in the Roman era, exactly 3,000 years ago. You and everyone in your village are joining hands to build strong stone enclosures to farm rabbits. And the singular purpose for this hard work is to get rabbit meat to eat. So why, at this exact present moment, is this delicious rabbit meat completely missing from almost all modern stores and supermarkets? Have you ever actually wondered why? Is it because it simply does not taste good? Not enough protein? Or maybe you think it is just too difficult to find? Well, everything you're guessing right now is completely wrong. The real answer is surprisingly simple, yet almost nobody ever thinks about it. On paper, a female rabbit is an absolute biological superstar. She gives birth to dozens of babies every single year, and each young one reaches harvest size in just a few short weeks. Her remarkably low lipid level makes her much healthier than a heavy bovine eating thousands of pounds of expensive crops. She converts simple food into delicious meat at a rapid rate that shatters all farming productivity charts. Now, let us continue being that Roman builder and see how misunderstood this delicious rabbit meat is in our world today. That ancient Roman obsession did not stop in the dust. Fast forward to the medieval French monasteries, where devout men cranked this farming up to a massive industrial scale. Why? Because the Catholic Church strictly banned red meat during the fasting period of Lent. The monks, however, exploited a brilliant, absurd loophole. They officially classified newborn rabbits as fish. This single legislative trick solidified the animal in the European diet for centuries. It was a perfect food source. But nature is deeply cruel, and this perfect biological machine contained a hidden self-destruct button. We call it a metabolic trap. Wild rabbit meat is shockingly lean. It is essentially pure protein, devoid of lipids. This is precisely where human biology ruins the party. Your liver has a hard physiological ceiling on protein metabolism, strictly maxing out at roughly 40% of your total daily caloric intake. If you consume nothing but this ultra-lean edible meat, your overworked internal organs simply cannot convert those amino acids into energy fast enough. The result is terrifying. Toxic ammonia rapidly floods your bloodstream. You can stuff your stomach until it physically hurts, but without fat, your body literally digests itself to survive. You are entirely full, yet you are slowly dying. That exact biological nightmare is rabbit starvation, as if poisoning its most loyal predators was not bad enough. This creature also suffers from a ridiculously fragile prey animal physiology. Its cardiovascular system is biologically wired for pure panic. A sudden loud noise, a bright flash of lightning, or just the stressful, cramped environment of modern factory farming can send it into immediate cardiac arrest. Imagine building a massive, highly efficient industry around an animal that drops dead just because it heard a loud tractor. Pigs endure confinement. A cow simply chews its grain. But the rabbit, its heart just stops. The stress kills it. Biology said no. If dropping dead from a sudden thunderstorm was not terrifying enough, packing these creatures into tight, dense enclosures creates a perfect breeding ground for highly contagious, devastating diseases like pasteurellosis and rampant coccidiosis. But the real historical horror show started in Australia in the year 1859. Someone foolishly released exactly 24 of them into the wild. Fast forward to the 1920s, and that tiny group had violently exploded into 10 billion hungry mouths. They aggressively stripped away every single ounce of natural feed and vegetation across the entire continent. It was an absolute ecological apocalypse. To forcibly stop this nightmare, the local government unleashed a literal biological weapon. First came the deadly myxomavirus, ruthlessly killing 99.8% of all infected targets. Then they introduced RHDV, a virus so extremely vicious it causes them to abruptly drop dead mid-stride. These fast-mutating, weaponized plagues made commercial farming an uninsurable, dangerous gamble. You simply cannot build a secure, lasting business when one single infected mosquito can completely wipe out your entire farm stock in just 48 hours. Even if you somehow survive the viruses, you immediately hit a massive economic lock-in. The modern processing infrastructure of the capitalist world is a ruthless, unyielding machine, heavily optimized for massive scale. Industry giants like Tyson Foods process millions of animals with heavy machinery, specifically dialed in for standard sizes. This massive industrial system is built exclusively for chicken, for beef, and for heavy pork. But our historical long-eared friend, its fragile skeletal structure easily breaks inside those giant metal machines. It strictly requires slow, highly expensive manual skinning. The financial math just does not work. The system was completely rigged against it from the very beginning. But the final, fatal blow to this incredible industry was not economic. It was a complete cultural transformation. Following the aftermath of World War II, the Western pet industry absolutely exploded into a massive, multi-billion-dollar empire. Scientists officially call this powerful psychological phenomenon the baby schema. These small creatures possess remarkably big, round eyes and incredibly soft facial features that biologically hijack our deeply ingrained human parenting instincts. Media and entertainment giants quickly capitalized on this emotional vulnerability. Entire generations grew up watching tragic animated movies about Bambi and reading cute, fictionalized bedtime stories about Peter. Suddenly, this magnificent, highly efficient creature was no longer viewed as a vital survival resource. It was entirely stripped of its true agricultural identity. The animal was swiftly moved from a dirty backyard wooden hutch directly onto the pristine living room sofa. We simply stopped seeing them as a valid, edible food source. The bunny officially became a protected family member. While the average American supermarket remains heavily dominated by standard poultry and heavy beef, the rest of the globe tells a vastly different, far more pragmatic story. Countries like France and Spain, the true historical home of those ancient Roman stone enclosures, still proudly see this creature as a standard everyday meal. Over in China, it is happily and regularly consumed without anyone panicking over any historical nightmare or metabolic consequences. These nations completely bypassed the deep emotional manipulation artificially fueled by the modern pet industry. The stark difference is purely in our heads. We chose cute emotion over cold logic. We simply surrendered to cartoons. The culture shifted entirely. Today, our escalating climate crisis demands immediate sustainability. Raising a massive cow requires vast tracts of land and endless grain, fueling devastating greenhouse gas emissions and heavily accelerating dangerous methane emissions. Yet, modern agricultural efficiency data reveals a forgotten miracle. These animals produce offspring that reach market weight with zero methane emissions, which drastically lowers our overall greenhouse gas emissions. Their pure efficiency and optimal fat content make this edible meat the perfect answer to achieve true sustainability during this ongoing climate crisis. Unfortunately, the modern capitalist world remains hopelessly trapped by its own design. Exactly like the wildly inefficient QWERTY keyboard, we stubbornly type on every single day. Our rigid processing infrastructure, currently controlled by monolithic giants like Tyson Foods, is just another permanent QWERTY keyboard that physically cannot adapt. The massive gears of commercial farming refuse to shift. We surrendered because we feared their fragile prey animal physiology, suffering sudden cardiac arrest inside loud factory farming environments. We were deeply terrified of dense enclosures breeding pasteurellosis or rampant coccidiosis. We watched the weaponized myxoma virus and the vicious RHDV decimate overseas populations, and we simply gave up. We let the emotional manipulation of the baby schema hijack our logic. We completely forgot how the clever Catholic Church once championed this resource. We became irrationally terrified of the metabolic trap found in pure protein metabolism. We panicked that our caloric intake of ultra-lean amino acids would trigger toxic ammonia buildup, leading to the dreaded historical nightmare of rabbit starvation. We stubbornly ignored the incredible agricultural efficiency data proving their unparalleled efficiency. We forgot that a single dose rapidly growing offspring, reaching optimal market weight with incredibly low-fat content, once formed the backbone of the mighty Roman Empire. They built advanced stone laporaria to secure an endless supply of affordable peasant food. Today, as natural resources collapse, we desperately need that same resilient peasant food. Yet we let those brilliant Leporaria crumble, completely forgetting the ancient survival wisdom of the Roman Empire. This small creature has been waiting patiently in a quiet wooden hutch for thousands of years. It stands as an absolute masterpiece of evolutionary design, perfectly equipped to feed us as global natural resources violently collapse around us. We are standing on the absolute precipice of a massive environmental disaster, searching the distant stars for high-tech agricultural miracles. Yet the ultimate biological solution has been sitting in our own backyards this entire time. But our modern Western civilization remains profoundly, dangerously stubborn. We are deeply blinded by rigid daily routines and silly, colorful cartoons. We allow fictional talking animals on TV screens to dictate our actual survival strategies. We have elevated a vital, historically proven food source onto an untouchable pedestal of pure cuteness, completely abandoning logic in favor of emotional comfort. We would rather watch the world slowly burn than challenge the comfortable illusions of our modern grocery aisles. Society is simply not ready to accept this magnificent creature for what it truly is. We chose sentimentality over survival. We let animated movies rewrite human history. So, the next time you wander through that supermarket, look closely at the empty spaces on the shelves. The absence speaks volumes about who we really are. We are prisoners of our own comfort. The illusion wins. If you want to keep breaking down the invisible walls of our society, subscribe and join the journey. Question everything.